the idea is that when we're having this discussion, and it's coming across a little disruptive, but what we want to make clear is that when you go through as an SME, you're structuring and you're stepping through the process, right?
Right.
So you start a business and then you probably go to raise capital at the bank, and then you realize you could raise capital differently through a different means, like a venture capital base. And that venture capital, whereas a bank would just give you cash and say, just pay back my loan, meet my criteria. You'll now go, if you go through a venture capital base like an angel investing team, they bring that expertise as well, and you're prepping you for the takeout. And when you bring angel investing into the conversation, they also look for, they structure you in a way that allows for takeout. And one of the healthiest way to take out is on a stock exchange, right? So just think of it as the process. It's a step, it's a process that will take you ultimately to a listing, as opposed to where Nigel is at, it's not necessarily ready for listing, but he can, the structure and the infrastructure that's going down in his company through a governance structure will support a listing. So I just want to make that very clear, Roshan, and to the audience, that it's a phased process, and what you would learn with that, you learn trained behavior. So by the time you get to listing, like Nigel said, you have a lot less fear. You're addressing fear at each stage, and you're eliminating it, and you're moving on to bigger and better things. So it's a progression path. Just to close that point off on that question.
No, that's excellent, Trisha, and kind of brings us back into the point about the different options, right? As you mentioned, and I mean, one thing we haven't really considered is the environment, like as I was saying, that we operate in, which is I mean, the world has basically been printing money for the last 2 years to combat the pandemic, right? And that has a real financial impact on interest rates, right? So we're in an environment now where it's becoming more and more expensive to borrow. That being said, it kind of pushes businesses in other directions to seek alternative means of financing. And I think we spoke about the angel investing, we spoke about the listing and so on, but there are other options to debt financing, and I think having a structure in your business and good corporate governance, inspires confidence to investors to add to your business and to help your business grow, right? So that's just what I want to just kind of wrap up on that point. Just now, a question to maybe post to Indu. In terms of where should SMEs start in developing a good corporate governance structure? I mean, who will really support them? I mean,
right. So, SMEs, it depends on the vehicle by which you're operating. And I mean legal vehicle, okay, to start with. Because what we have in Trinidad is we have many sole traders. And sole traders start off as, XY trading as whatever business, right? And we have a vast population. And that's what Nigel was referring to as a nano enterprise, okay, a nano business. The next step from there is really incorporation in terms of a legal vehicle, a legal entity, and forming a company for profit. Now, that's a very, very simple process. Actually, it's not something that you need a lawyer for. A lay person can do this, and many lay people do that. So you go from a stage of being a sole trader potentially into a more legalistic framework, right? Which allows you to separate yourself from you as a person from your business, okay? And that legal incorporation gives some protection to the business itself and to you. There are basic legal requirements. When we start talking about governance, we're starting talking about not just the basic legal requirements. We're talking about a little bit more than that. And so I think when we're talking about leveling up, the level that you are at within your business, what your business can support. And I think having, like what Nigel says, having a lawyer at your disposal is very helpful. Your question, one of the questions that we were thinking of addressing, I think, was, who do you turn to, right? And this is what we're addressing now. And I think your bankers are an important support. You at JMMB have really demonstrated that. I think in Trinidad, where we have issues is from getting the nano into the system, into the banking system. Because many nano business people operate on a cash basis, and they hold their cash and they use their cash to either buy more supplies, buy more inputs, whatever it is. So that's where we have a real challenge, I think, in Trinidad, where the relationship between the entrepreneur and the banker is really fundamental. So I would say two things. One, meeting the legal requirements of incorporation as a basic. And then secondly, having that relationship with a banker to take your business and incorporate it into the business world, as it were. And that puts your business on a different footing as well.
Good. So what I heard there is to call Natalia, right?
Yes.
Because it's important that you have a partner to work with you, whether it's your bank.
I do it. That's my protocol.
And go your accountant. I see that you want to give a testimony here.
Yeah, I call Natalia. That's what she's there for. But really, the understanding, removing the whole, we going by them for money, this sort of mindset that your banker is a financial base, is your tool in your arsenal of weapons that you're going to fight this business war with. That's the mindset you need to have when you approach these entities. So the approach is very different. The philosophy is very different. And if you listen to successful business persons, that's how they speak. That's how they see it. Yeah, it's part of the team.
So I'm going to play devil's advocate here a little bit and talk about some of the incentives offered by the government and how is it easy for entrepreneurs such as yourself to access those incentives.
In the case of Twigs Naturals, our business is specific. Yes, we do domestic trading, but our business mindset has always been to give a taste of Trinidad and Tobago to the world. And as such, pretty early in the game, we've been working with Export TT. So specific to Export TT, there are some mechanisms that are cash-based in the form of co-financing, as well as resource-based. So we're part of the Export Booster Initiative program. And as such, we've been assigned a consulting company that works with us for export marketing, works with us for development on the business, the strategic planning specific to export. So that's a different language altogether. Trust me, it's like a whole different company. Yeah. And that's not a cash incentive. That's not cash assistance. They've added to our arsenal of our team base. We actually have weekly sessions and we go through strategic planning and identify milestones, and they check up on you where you're at with this, so is the case. Prior to this call, because we were part of an international trade show in Malaysia, we have some co-financing to sort out there. So they actually foot the bill for half of that exercise, right? We, out of that same Malaysian show, we are in conversation with somebody in Senegal and one in Germany. So our new labels actually now have French on it. So we got assistance for translation. So the new labels from Twigs Naturals have both French and English. The current design allows for us to swap out the French to put in Spanish, should we seek the Spanish-speaking markets. So these are all direct cash. These are technical assistance. We're FDA food safety certified, so we would have gotten subsidies for that training program as well. So it's just out of this one entity alone. I would have mentioned IACA, for example, where we are considered food and beverage and downstream in the agricultural sector. So IACA, Inter-American Agency for Cooperation in Agriculture. Whew, that's a mouthful. They provide technical assistance. They don't give cash. You want help. You want, whether it's animal husbandry, go straight across the board to, in our case, soil propagation and quality control. They have a food safety professional on board. We have them to turn to as part of the program. They've given assistance in placement in the domestic market. We are now placed in excellent stores, for example, through advocacy from these entities. So there is, it's not just I need money, help out.
Exactly.
You have real technical assistance. And these people come to the business from a real practical perspective. It's not about the academic all the time. They understand what your needs are and want to provide some tangible value to what you do, whether it's the operational, the strategic, or just a pair of ears to lean on, to give some advice on how to do things a little better.
So your little nano business, Nigel, right, has been able to touch all points of the spectrum, right?
Pretty much.
And being able not only just to access, as you said, just funding, right? Because the critical thing here, as you said, is you're accessing expertise, right? Yeah. And that in itself, even though they're not like a full-time member of your team, right? Yes. Those are your quote-unquote external advisors, right? So you have already started that journey, right, of putting in structure to your business, right? And I think you would see and notice as that structure is added and goes along, your ability to access capital would change, because your circumstances will now change, right? So just to kind of wrap it all up in a little bow, we could see the importance of having proper corporate governance in your business that helps you not only anchor growth and progress in your business, but being able to access multiple sources of financing outside of the traditional means that could help your business grow. And if it's in the form of angel investing, and if it's in the form of a listing, right, your investors themselves will be rewarded along with you as your business grows, right?
Yeah. Rush, I'd just like to say, Nigel, I mean, this is one of the most healthiest story we've heard. You know, this question, sometimes you pose this question and you get a different response, you know. Your response is very progressive. You have, what we're seeing here is how passionate you are, and you've sought, you correct me if I'm wrong, but you've been very particular about how you do your research and what you want. So you're absolutely certain of what you want to achieve every time you tackle an agency. So you find your weaknesses in your business, and I just want to comment on your leadership and your visionary. It's excellent. It's excellent. Great example. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thanks, Trisha. Indo, I don't know if you have any closing comments that you'd want to make on today's proceedings.
Well, just some general comments about, governance. And, when we think about governance, it sounds a bit stodgy. It sounds a bit unknown. We don't know really what it means. But it really is about strategic foresight. It's about how you control your business against risk and threats. The point I really want to make is that it is not one size fits all. And for example, as Nigel grows, he will see different opportunities for him to introduce different aspects of governance into his business. And that's what it's about. It's about continuously improving, just as he's continuously improving his manufacturing processes, his export processes. Governance goes along with that. And governance supports all of those business and commercial aspects. So it's nothing to be, I would say, intimidated by, or nothing to be afraid of, nothing that will put you to sleep. It's not boring, it's live. And it really has a big impact. And we've seen with Nigel, you're so inspiring, Nigel. And thank you for sharing so much. I really appreciate your input. So it is live. And we can all do it, So that's what I would close off and say.
Thanks, Indu. Trisha, I don't know if you wanted to add any closing comments, or if you're okay.
Okay, I think we covered it really well. I mean, I hope we've left a message that corporate governance can support you, help you find opportunities. And it's your partner. It's your partner to success. It's your partner to achieve something that is deep down inside of you that you want to leave as a legacy. So, see it as an opportunity. That's my ask. And if you have questions, don't be afraid to reach out to us. We have Natalia here. She's phenomenal, as you heard from Nigel. And as you can tell, Indo's an expert at understanding how we could make this thing happen. And it's really a wonderful room here to challenge yourself and reach out and get that opportunity to take your business to the next level. Thank you, Nigel, so much for sharing your experience. Again, thank you.
Okay, so I mean, continuing on that central theme of partnership, JMMB, as we said, we do have a resource center, and Nathania is the resident expert here in Trinidad, supported by a well-able team from Jamaica, Shani Falcona Duncan, who's the group lead on SME. So, we're here to partner with organizations of all sizes, right? Whether you're nano, you're mega, or you're anywhere in between, right? I think having support, having a trusted partner, helps in that process, from moving from the idea generation, right, to the poster on Times Square, right? It is an entire process and a journey. And JMMB is one of your trusted financial partners in that journey. And as much as we continue to add value to SMEs and all of our clients by extension, right, we will continue to do so. So in closing for today, I'd just like to thank the speakers, Indu, Nigel, and of course, Trisha. I'd like to thank the SME team for putting this presentation together. And we remain open to you and available to you. You could contact the SME Resource Center at smeresourcecenter@jmmb.com, or you could drop us a line at info@jmmb.com. I mean, or you could just give us a call at 224-5662 and just reach out to us in general. We're here to support you as your trusted financial partner. So in closing, I'd like to wish everyone a good evening. Wish you success, and feel free to reach out to us. Yeah. Have a good one. Take care, folks.